that it would be nice for us to tell us Nigerians what is the most important thing, what to look out for, what is the value and the importance of what we have so far, what is the implications of what we have to our jurisprudence, to our democracy, and above all things, what is it we are still expecting at the deposition that is going to hold on today, or probably going on now? How does it affect what we have already? That's number one. And secondly, what will the Supreme Court do with this? Will they accept it? Will they reject it? If they eventually accept it, how are they supposed to look at it? If they are considering accepting or not accepting, what did the law say with respect to accepting or not accepting? So this night, we want to look at this thing from three segments. A flashback and a summary of what we have, Nigerians have today, because it is public. Last night, we were talking, will article release it or not? Just within 1 hour after we finished our program, it came. Everything was released, splashed all over the media. We're going to do a summary on that, and then we come down to the important aspect of what we have. Let us move away from emotion and come and ask ourselves, this thing we have, what do we do with it? Of what use is it? And how is it supposed to benefit us? Did Atiku waste his time? Is there any potential in it? Can it help Nigeria? So that's what we are today. So welcome again, Nigerians and all well-wishers of this wonderful nation called Nigeria. And myself and my colleague Ifoma, we're here tonight. We are bringing it real and breaking it down. So where do we start? We start from the certificate. Ifoma, what do you think?
Yes.
All right. So as we all have heard, and as we all may have seen, trending all over the world, not just Nigeria, the Chicago State University ended up releasing 33-page documents last night. To us in Nigeria, it was in the night. To them in America, it was in the afternoon. They released 33-page documents, starting from the entry requirements, what our person in Nigeria used to apply for the admission. And from what we could see there, number one is that there is what we may call WAEC certificate today, a Cambridge certificate. Because then Cambridge or Oxford, we issue certificate to schools like in Nigeria when you have finished your secondary school. Cambridge will test you and then issue the certificate. And that certificate was supposed to have been issued. It is a 1970 Cambridge certificate that relates to Government College, Lagos. We also saw in the form that was filled where our person, our man, wrote there that he attended Government College, Lagos. Government College, Lagos did not exist until 1974. Whereas the Government College, Lagos, that we have presented to both the Southwest College and the university was that of 1970. So the big question we need to ask ourselves is, when did this heist start? When did this whole fraud thing start? We can see that it dates back to as far back as 1977. 1977, that is from the Chicago University's end, dates back to 1977. We don't know how back it dated to the college, Southwest College, because the Southwest College that gave the transcript showed that, again, that it was a lady, a female, that they passed, that they gave the transcript. So if we push it back, it means at least 1976. So the whole heist, as far back as Richard Dale Southwest College, dates back to as far back as 1976. If my memory serves me right, It means that this is something that has been in existence, if we use 1976 as a working date, for 47 years. 47 years. Richard Dale or Southwest College, Chicago University, and then INEC. So this is a window of 47 years of keeping the world in the wraps. Now, why do I say the world? Because Africa as a continent is being in the wraps. Nigeria, INEC, the whole public. Cambridge University, which is United Kingdom, Europe, is also in this whole game. And then two institutions in the US, Richard Dale, or what you call Southwest College, and Chicago State University. So it is something that spanned 47 years, cutting across 3 continents: the North America of the United States of America, United Kingdom, which is in the Western Europe, Nigeria, which is in West Africa. So we can tell ourselves that this job is well cut out. But then again, we have also seen that the certificate, that the specimen of the certificate that Chicago State University released came in 3 formats. I don't know if we have them. The first specimen are the kind of certificates that they issued in 1979, during the 1979 era. In that certificate, as many of us we have seen, you could see a hand, 2 hands like this, and you could see that 5 people were signing their certificate as far back as 1979. 5 people. 5 people were signing all the certificates. For some of us, many of us, we have seen it. We don't have all the time to begin to show as much as 8 different certificates. They showed the certificate from the Faculty of Management. They show certificate from different other departments, not just from the business and administration. They show certificates coming from different departments. And all of them that was issued in 1979 era, they did what? They had 3 signatures and arms like this. Fast forward to 1998, 1999. They had a different logo again. That logo is the same kind of logo that is in the certificate that was forwarded to INEC. But an interesting thing there is that all the certificate specimen that Chicago State University released, which they issued around 1979 and 1998 and 1999, they had 3 signatures. They had 3 signatures, and it was something like a triangle. The El Daniel of a woman we are talking about yesterday, that was when she has started working in that university. And during that era, it was 3 signatures. Now, fast forward to currently 2003. The certificate they are issuing, the logo is like a tree. It's like a tree is the logo. And it is only 2 signatures. 2 signatures. 2 signatures. Now, let us now ask ourselves, if you can show me the certificates, if you can bring the certificate before I come to this point, that would be nice, because the certificates are not showing. Now, let's ask ourselves this question. When in 1999, documents were submitted to INEC in 1999, INEC was told in the INEC form, which we had shown us here some time ago, that the copy of the certificate was not available because all of them were taken by the army. So, let me try to demystify what happened here. If indeed, because people are saying, oh, that why El Daniel's signature is in the certificate submitted to INEC is because this person applied for a reissue of a certificate. A reissue of a certificate. Now you can see it here. Thank you, Former. This is an awesome job you've done here. An awesome job. Now you can see the one at the center. They have 5 signatures. They had arm like this as their logo. That was a 1979 era certificate. You can see the 1998, 1999 era certificate. They had 3 signatures, and the logo is like a triangle in a circle. And then you can see the 2023 signatures. The logo is like a tree, a flower inside an arch, and only 2 signatures. Now, as I said, if someone said that this certificate that was submitted to the INEC was a reissued certificate, I can disprove of that. Why? Is because from the 33-page document that Chicago State University released, remember, they were under instruction to release all they have in the record. They included the document that they released, the letter of request for this record, and the document that they released to Tinubu's lawyer in June this year. So the question I'm asking is, why did Chicago University not show us the application letter for a reissue of certificate in 1998 or 1999? That's the question. Because if there was an application, a request for a certificate to be reissued, we would have seen it, and it is not in that document, which means nobody applied for a reissuance of certificates. Does that make sense? Nobody applied for a reissuance of certificates. So that is fact number 1. Fact number 2 is that if someone had applied in 1998 or 1999 for a reissuance of certificate and that certificate was issued, Gani Fawehinmi would have been debunked when he was in court. Because Gani Fawehinmi, all through that period, there was a back and forth, Lagos State House of Assembly, Supreme Court, until even Festus Keyamo, until they got tired. Nobody brought out a certificate. So the plausible thing that happened here, Nigerians, the plausible thing that happened is that in the lead up to 2023 election, somebody quickly ran to Pinterest and downloaded a copy of the certificate that is online and did photoshopping of the inserting of the name without changing the date. If people were smart enough, they would have probably looked for the specimen of the certificate of the 1979 era that will have 5 signatures, and that will also have the signatures and the names of the people who existed then. But they were not smart enough to forge. And so whosoever did this job did a bad job in that they accessed the 1998-1999 era certificate, edited it with photoshopping, inserted the name, and issued in 1979 and submitted it to INEC. So it is carrying 1979 data with 1998 more like packaging. That is why El Daniel is concerned that she did not sign any certificate in 1979. She didn't sign any certificate in 1979 because she hadn't even been employed in that institution as at that particular time. So what are we trying to say here? It can be established. Can I see that particular certificate that was submitted to INEC, please? Is it possible for me to see it? Of course, we have seen it. Nigerians, we have seen it 1,000,001 times. If you see that certificate that was submitted to INEC, it was written that it was issued in 1979. There is no certificate issued in 1979 that did not have 5 signatures. But this one was issued in but this one that was purportedly issued in 1979 came in the form of 1998. And if people are building the argument, certificate, Chicago University does not have any information to show that someone applied for a reissuance of certificate in 1998, 1999. And indeed, if there was, because army, when the army, the so-called army, invaded and raided the house, it was during the Abacha era. We all knew that Abacha died in 1998. We know that Abacha died in 1998. So if this were requested in 1998, why was it not submitted in 1999? And even if he eventually found it after submitting to INEC, remember that INEC submission of forms were done in 1998. Why was all the back and forth of going to court with Ganifa with me and nobody brought it out? That tells you that it was worked from somewhere. It was worked from somewhere. It was worked from somewhere. That is very, very important. And then another thing we need to see here is that there is a clear-cut establishment of a pattern of manipulation going on for some time now. Because the Cambridge, or what you might call WAEC certificate that was issued as if it was someone who passed from a school, and the name of that school is Government College, Lagos. And it was issued in 1970. Whereas Government College, Lagos started 1974. So the question is, which school is that school that has been issuing certificate even before the school started? Good. This is the particular specimen of 1979 that is being paraded, 1998, 1999, that is being paraded as if it was issued in 1979. And I have said here, nobody has come to say, I applied for a reissuance of certificate. And from the document released by Chicago, they did not show any form showing that there is an application for a reissuance of certificate. That is it. And again, remember that during the court hearing with Judge Gilbert, the Chicago State University lawyer had said it in the hearing of everybody that the certificate that was submitted to INEC, that Chicago State University cannot stay under oath and say that they issued it. You remember that? That was the first official denial in court under oath. So it is a very simple thing. This certificate submitted to INEC, Chicago State University had said through their lawyer, they don't know where it came from. They can say that in their record that they have this student, but they can say also, but not under oath, they don't know where the one given to INEC came from. And so that moves us now to ask ourselves, where are we? All this whole thing, Nigerians are jumping up and dancing. What does it mean to us? In my own simple summary, I have summarized it under 2 columns. But before I move on to that extent, Ifeoma, please, do you have some contribution to make or questions to ask so that we can move on from this whole thing and get on to the next stage?
No, Doc, you can go ahead.
Okay. So, in all these things, I've been able to break it down into 2 components. Number 1 component is Nigerians deserve to know. And now we know what has been happening. As I said, this can be said to be a manipulation that has been happening for the past 47 years. It did not start today. It's a 47 years hide and seek. The more you look, the less you see. And it is good for Nigerians to get to know. It is good for Nigerians to know that there was a manipulation of a Cambridge school certificate. And that's why that certificate could not have been given to INEC, because everybody would have spotted it. A Cambridge certificate that was issued in 1970, whereas the school, Government College Lagos, that Cambridge issued that certificate on their behalf. That is, Cambridge sent the exams to schools, and when you pass, they send you their certificate. That school started 1974. Okay? Secondly, we have also seen that Richard Dale College, or what you may call Southwest College then, which is Richard Dale now, did not hide the fact that the person that they passed through them in their document is a female. Thirdly, the hand of the person who applied to Chicago University filled a form saying the secondary school I attended in Nigeria is Government College Lagos from 1970. And that school was not existing then. It was existing in the mind and in the belly of Gowon, who was the head of state, and the military administrators in Lagos then, because it was in 1974 that it became an entity. Okay? So it tells you that everything that has been happening is a well thought out thing. It is not something that just popped up and somebody just made one mistake and say, oh, I just slipped. It has been a pattern. This is a pattern. And what is now important is the deposition that is going on now, the deposition that is currently going on now, which I know much later in the night, the information will start coming out. The Atiku's legal team will carry this document and begin to ask those questions. Can you accept this? Can you deny this? And one major question I know that Atiku's team will ask is this: did you people issue this certificate? Say yes or no under oath. This certificate, this particular one given to INEC, Chicago State University, say it now or shut your mouth forever. Did you people issue it? If yes, who did? If no, thank you. Then they will be coming down to Nigeria. And now when we arrive in Nigeria, what does that portend to us in Nigeria? There has been today, as usual, Ruben Abani was on air, as usual. I'm sorry, people will say, why are you always picking on Ruben? I do because he's a lawyer, and I do because he's supposed to be, he's someone I used to respect a lot. As far back as 1999, 1998, I read Ruben Abati's column. But it's like after testing politics, he was deputy governor of PDP, Ogun State, 2019, candidate. He used to be President Jonathan's spokesperson. It's like after testing politics, he too has learned how to be wobbly in the way he talks. Today, he was on air on Arise Television. And I must have to confess here to Nigerians, I did not click. I just clicked that place and touched the comments. And the moment I read the comments, I say, I know. People were bashing Ruben and said, this man is this man is that. And I realized that indeed he has sold out. And one of the things we saw is Ruben will always say that all these things are academic exercise. It is useless. The Supreme Court will not accept it again. And I disagree. I disagree because on the point of law, Ruben was wrong. Now, this is the Southwest College, which is currently called Richard Dale. You can see it there. Sex is female. And that is their transcript. And listen, let me put it this way. Someone went to the secondary school. It's like you went to your secondary school to collect your results so that you can use it to submit to the university. And the transcript, or you even went to go and collect your transcript from your university so that you can submit it to another university for your master's, and they put in your gender female when you're male or male when you're female. It's a simple thing. Oh, you people made a mistake here.
Yes.
Can you correct this? And you carried it like that. And you carried it like that. Nigeria, make we think now. Come on. It tells you that the person that submitted this thing, I don't even know how to handle it. But let's move away from that. Like I said, all these ones is to tell Nigerians who we are and who we have. But can I tell us something? You see Richard Dale College, you see the Cambridge certificate, you see all those Bobo Tibo. When it comes to our Supreme Court, they are useless. It is not required in our Supreme Court. That's why I say to Nigerians, it is for us to know. There is only one thing that the Supreme Court is entitled to looking at: the certificate submitted to INEC. Is it fake or is it real? Is it fake? The question is not, did someone go to a school? The question is, the certificate submitted, is it fake or is it real? And let me make this emphasis again. I keep saying it. I have seen someone who went to a school. I have seen someone who graduated. I have seen someone who was issued a certificate. But because of laziness, he was supposed to submit this certificate somewhere, and out of laziness, he couldn't find it. He forged one. So give me the Supreme Court rules, the one we used last night, the one that came in blue colors, 12.1. Let me see it. So that we can begin to debunk. Nigerians, if you are tuned into this channel and anybody saying somewhere, oh, Supreme Court cannot accept this, that is trending everywhere. Tell them it's a lie. If the Supreme Court refuses to accept it, they just deliberately want to do injustice to Nigerians because their own rule, Supreme Court rules, Order 212, Order 2, Section 12, subsection 12.1, that is the order number 2. When you get to number 2, which means like the second schedule, you now move down to number 12. Number 12 has 3 other sub-components. Component number 1 says here, as you can see. And that order 2 says the rules to submitting additional evidence. Rules to submitting additional evidence. And what did he say? A party who wishes the court, meaning the Supreme Court, to receive the evidence of witness, whether they were or were not called at the trial, or to order the production of any document, exhibit, or other thing connected with the proceedings in accordance with the provisions of Section 33 of the Act, shall apply for leave on notice of motion prior to the date set down for the hearing of the appeal. I believe that Atiku had done this. That is where he got that date of 5th October as his deadline. So Nigerians, stop listening to some mainstream media who just want to play to the gallery, looking for politicians to come and sponsor them. Better start listening to us. We don't have anything other than to tell you the truth. You see, we don't have beautiful studio. We don't have elaborate pause and play advert. Unless you want to play advert for us, you can support us with something. But what we have is our face and our voice. And after we have done research all day, we come to tell you here in the night. We are telling you the truth. and nothing but the truth. Now, give me the second slide of this same rule. This is the first rule. Condition number 1 for submitting additional evidence. Condition number 2 says the application shall be supported by affidavit of the facts on which the party relies for making it, and of the nature of the evidence or the document concerned. It keeps saying evidence or document, evidence or document. Number 3, it shall not even be necessary for the other party to answer the additional evidence intended to be called. But if leave is granted, the other party shall be entitled to a reasonable opportunity to give his own evidence in reply if he so wishes. Okay? So, if Atiku and his team arrives Nigeria, the Supreme Court do not have any right in law not to accept whatever they bring. That is what I'm trying to establish here now. Their own rule compels them to accept it. But we know that they have started creating new rules. As long as this election this year is concerned, there is one rule to protect the status quo, and there is another rule for us to know. This one is the rule which is supposed to be a general rule. There is every possibility that they will say, we don't care, but at least let us know that there was a rule they set out even before the election. And if they reject it, they rejected it because they don't want us to have our country. That is the reason why we're saying this here tonight. Now, the next thing is, okay, fine. What if they accept it? Remember Justice Samania and co. They were collecting everything P2B was bringing. They were collecting everything that Atiku Abubakar was bringing. And when they finished, they trashed all of them. Is it not true? So, assuming they collect it for peace sake, knowing that on the day of the judgment, they will say what they want to say. That's where I want us to go to now, what we call precedents. Precedents. So show me this particular case. This is a settled case in our Supreme Court and our appeal court regarding election matter on issue of submission of forged certificate. Submission of forged certificate. So give me that headline from The Guardian. In the last cycle of election in 2019, there was a case between NNPP, member of House of Representatives, and APC from Plateau State, from Bauchi State. This was the judgment of the Court of Appeal sitting in Plateau State. And the summary of the judgment is that presentation of forged document to INEC by a candidate for any election disqualifies the culprit. Give me the second slide. Now, in that particular case, we have said it here. There was this guy there was this guy that the tribunal cleared him. He forged Lagos State University degree certificate. He forged NYSC certificate. And he forged Lagos State University master's degree certificate. And he used it to serve at the House of Representatives for 4 years. He escaped. And then in 2019, he came back again. And he was exposed. The tribunal cleared him. The tribunal says, well, even if it was forged, just like in the case of Enugu State, that NYS is not a qualifying, does not qualify you to become, and the bachelor's degree and master's is not qualified. As long as you have school cert, you're sorted. So the guy appealed, and the Supreme Court and the appeal court smashed the judgment of the tribunal. And now, I'm going to read now. It says, on whether the appellant actually proved beyond reasonable doubt that the BSc, MBA, and National Youth Service Corps discharge certificate of the first respondent forged, the court stated, relying on the decision of Agi versus PDP 2016. This Agi versus PDP is a Supreme Court judgment. So the appeal court was quoting Supreme Court. And this is what the Supreme Court said in page 115. It says, the act of making a false document or altering a genuine one for same to be used is what forgery is. Did you people hear it? So there is a possibility that there is a genuine certificate somewhere. And I've said it times without number. If the university where I graduated made the mistake of adding H in front of the T, that is of my name, and I think I can handle it, and I went and used razor to scrape out that H, I have forged it. Is it not true?
It's true.
Because I have altered a genuine one. Even though it was mine, even though it was issued to me by the university, but for the fact that I, on my own, scraped one letter out of it, it is called forgery. The Supreme Court in 2016, in the case of Agi versus PDP, you see where it's written? That is the case number LPELR hyphen 42578 in bracket SC, meaning Supreme Court. If it is appeal court, they will say AC. If it is high court, it will be written HC. So this is the appeal court quoting the Supreme Court, meaning both appeal court and Supreme Court hold the same view when it comes to certificate forgery. So what we have done is, number one, we have established that based on what Chicago State University released, what was submitted to INEC was not exactly what they issued. That's number one. Number two, we've come down to argue that the Supreme Court has no choice than to accept this particular document in evidence as additional evidence due to its importance in the decision of the outcome. And thirdly, the Supreme Court should rely on their own precedent to say that the case before them is not whether the person attended the school. The case before them is not whether the person graduated first class. The case before them is whether the document given to our INEC, is it the same document given by the issuer of this document? The answer is no. Now, if somebody altered it somewhere, Supreme Court says here, and I quote them again, Nigerians, follow me. The act of making a false document or altering a genuine one for same to be used is what forgery is. According to the court, this definition makes it clear that forgery takes either of two forms. It could be the making of a false document, in which case there will be no genuine one to be tendered to make a comparison. I wish the tribunal in Enugu will come and read this again, because they say, we didn't see the original. If you say that this is forged, show us the original so that we can compare it and say, okay, this is forged, this is real. Do you understand what I mean? It says, according to the court, this definition makes it clear that forgery takes either of two forms. It could be the making of a false document, in which case there will be no genuine one to be tendered to make a comparison. The other form of forgery is altering a genuine document to be used as real. That it was therefore incorrect to hold that to prove forgery, two sets of documents, the forged one and genuine copy, must always be tendered, as this would amount to asking for the impossible. So, Nigeria, what we are here is not saying that we are going to force them in Abuja. But we're here to remind them that we know the rules and we know how they judged before. If they decide to change it, it is because they don't want us to see justice. Let us move on. Give me another slide again from these same people, from this same judgment. It says, according to the court, the best evidence to prove forgery of certificate is a report. What did we say? A report, not even physical presence. A report from the institution that purportedly issued it. A report. And that in this case, the appellant not only subpoenaed witness from the very institution, but also the witness additionally tendered certificates and certified true copies of documents issued by the institution to support appellants. So, because in this, NYC was actually in that place. They were subpoenaed. Now, remember, people, listen. Did you hear the word what? Subpoenaed. 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 You can only subpoena someone who is a neutral person. You can only subpoena someone who doesn't care. He just coming to say, as I know it, this is the way I say. I don't know whether you are going to succeed or not succeed. This is all I know. And subpoena can only be issued by the judges handling the case. And in the election tribunal, as we said, Justice Samani and Co. got it wrong because they threw out all the subpoenaed witnesses of P2B, saying that they should have front-loaded it when they were the people who signed the subpoena. And subpoena can only be signed when the panel had been inaugurated. And the panel cannot be inaugurated unless the same petition was submitted. And they are saying that the witness should be sent with the petition. It's not possible. Okay, even if you knock off the Labour Party girl that came from Amazon, what of Channels Television? Do they work for Labour Party? The answer is no. What of AIT? What of other people? Atiku brought Enahoro Eba, who told them in that particular court that he's a member of Labour Party, but he came there for PDP. Which means if there was someone where he would have gone to willingly tender his witness, it would have been to Labour Party. But he went to the PDP. So I am painting this so that when they do their bragadabra again, let us remember that we know what is the truth. Now, how does this particular slide relate with what we are saying? It relates because whatever comes from the deposition today, in addition with the physical document we have, we already know that you can't carry Chicago State University to Nigeria. But there are reports which will be given under oath today will tell us if that particular certificate submitted to INEC was given by them. If they decide to save somebody, like say, yes, it was given by us, fine, then it is genuine. But if they come out, as their lawyer has said, that they can't, under oath, say that they know where it came from, what else are we looking for? What else are we looking for? Thank you.
Yeah, Doc, thank you very much for your contributions. You've said it all. I don't really have much to say, but honestly, this has not really painted Nigeria, in a good picture. People have been saying all sorts of things because of this revelation. But I'm so happy that this came out because it's going to help in bringing to rest this argument of, you can see the image I have there, this, the human rights lawyer I've been talking about. You can see what is written here. He was saying Tinubu. You can see it's not really that clear because this is an old picture. Tinubu is a criminal. Gani deserves 10 years in jail. So you can imagine how long we've been on this argument that is about to end. Because if not for any other thing, for the fact that this has been made open, I think that is the biggest win. For those of them saying that the Supreme Court might not accept it, whether they accept it or not, like doctor will always say that victory is in different forms. Even if they don't disqualify the sitting president, we've made so much gain as a people. We've made so much gain, in exposing so many things, not just that of the sitting president, but the judiciary, the rulings that they give, and all that. We've come to know that so many things are happening behind the scene when it comes to politics in Nigeria. And you can see that Nigerians, especially the Nigerian youths, they really want to change the status quo. They want things to change. We can't just continue this way. When you look at countries that gained their independence at the same time or at about the same time with Nigeria, they've all moved ahead. We are just the only country upon all the things we have. We have the population, we have the natural resources, the human resources is there, the natural ones are there, and so many things that God has endowed Nigeria with. But we can't really make out anything from them because we have leadership problem. But I'm happy that we've made this gain. We are just believing that the Supreme Court will not disappoint Nigerians. They should look into this case. And like I was discussing with somebody today, we were like, is it that will Nigerians, assuming the court refuses to disqualify him, will Nigerians summon that courage to demand that he steps down, looking at all these things? Or can the National Assembly even start an impeachment, whatever? I don't really know. I don't know. I'm just
listen. You asked me this question and I laughed. Maybe I'll give you answer. This is our own national television of small people. National Assembly. Akpabio is interested in creating the office of the First Lady of the Senate. They are interested in buying bulletproof cars. And they have APC majority. And this is the same Senate that cleared ministers with one baggage or the other. Let me say it and quote me. Multiply this whole scandal times 100. National Assembly will tell you that this is the best government we've had.
And that
because remember
the best
because remember that they say that minority will have their say, but majority will have their way. As long as APC remains in the majority, we should be praying because we haven't even seen the worst coming. Forget it. Come on.
Yeah, the rot in Nigeria is really too much. And I was just wondering, assuming that at the end of the day we discovered that these certificates were forged, let's just assume that
you don't need another, Madam, really, Fama, you don't need another end of the day, because the Chicago State University lawyer has said that one, we can say that this name passed through this university, but that document submitted to INEC, we can't stay under oath to say we know where it came from. What else do you want? He said it under oath in the court. But let them finally validate it today in this deposition.
yeah.
It is past 10 here. I'm gonna sit here and be waiting for my news source to update me. As soon as it's done, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get the content of the deposition this night.
Okay, I think it's even out. I'm seeing a tweet already.
Okay.
Yeah, it's out. Somebody says, breaking news, Chicago State University disowns Tinubu certificate he submitted to INEC. Officials of the Chicago State University during the deposition under oath disowned the certificate Bola Tinubu presented to INEC to contest the 2023 presidential election. So it's already out. I'm reading from a tweet on Twitter, and it was just posted 10 minutes ago.
Okay, so what else are we looking for? Okay, let's put it this way. The issue, okay, give me the last slide that we read now. Based on this thing you said, please, can you give me the last slide? The one from Guardian, the one carrying their logo. Please, Nigerians, please.
I'm just like, each time I keep saying, why is it that Tinubu did not see the need to just retire honorably. Why this desperation? Because I still remember what happened during the primaries. He was like, anybody that stands on my way. It was a tug of
remember to
war.
give me the slide. Give me the slide I'm asking while I tell you my mind.
Okay.
It's a psychological thing. No. The last slide, the one that is carrying the logo. The last slide. It's a psychological thing. You remember that story of a king, the one carrying the logo, the king that walked naked. Remember that king? They kept telling him, oh, you look nice, until he was literally naked, thinking he was wearing a cloth. So it's a psychological thing. It's a problem with leaders sometimes. The people you think should think end up being people who don't think at all. They're consumed in their desire that they don't see any other thing. I gave you 3 slides from Guardian. The other one that says how to establish a forgery is by a report. It's a report. The last one is a report from the issuer of the document. Good. According to the court, the best evidence to prove forgery of certificate is a report from the institution that purportedly issued it. A report from the institution that purportedly issued it. So if what you quoted from someone on tweeting on X now is anything to go by, match it with this. So we have cleared and established forgery. We have now established forgery from the mouth of the issuer.
Yes.
The next stage is, will it be admitted in evidence? We have also cleared it by the Supreme Court rule that they don't have a choice. And finally, if they finally admitted it, will they throw it away and say that it has not been proved beyond reasonable doubt? That brings us back to this slide. They cannot, unless they just want to shove it down our throats. If they want to do justice, they know what to do. And I think on that note, let's go rest. Let's just go rest.
So, but Doc, what do you think Nigerians can do in this situation? Because we have a system that can just, manipulate their way through. It's not just a matter of getting this document from the US or even the deposition. It's our judiciary, the Supreme Court, willing to really work with it. It's not even a matter of accepting it. Like you mentioned, they accepted everything Peter Obi brought in. Then we were making videos. Peter Obi came with loads of evidence and all that. We were making videos. People saw all these things, and the admission wasn't a struggle. They were easily admitted. But what did they do with them? At the end of the day, it appears as if they didn't even go to make reference to those evidences that were given to them.
They did not near the room where they locked it.
I'm telling you. So we have a system. I think it's just that Nigerians have to wake up and ensure that this our country is rebranded. The institutions we have, they are not helping out matters. I'm telling you. Look at our judiciary. You made mention of our media. Somebody was even lamenting that the media did not really play its role in terms of this.
Media played its role. They said that he that plays the piper does what dictates the tune. I saw the media houses, mainstream media houses, tweeting and saying Chicago State University has finally validated the certificate. They are doing the bidding of their paymaster. They're doing the bidding of their paymaster. Shame. A big shame. Today, it was a fighting match between Ayo, Rufai, and Ruben Abati. It was Ayo, Rufai on one side versus Ruben Abati. And check it on Arise. And someone is saying, why can't Ruben Abati go to TVC and start working there? so that it will be quite understandable that the owner of the station who is paying them salary, that his job is under threat, and it is their duty to fight. You see, I can't complain with anybody on TVC because they have to fight to make sure that the man who is paying their salary retains his job.
Yes.
There are media all over the world, in US, in UK, that you can know that this media house is partisan. So when they are talking, you know that they are campaigning. As soon as their transmitters are on, they are campaigning for their candidate.
Yeah, Doc, thank you very much. So, guys, yeah, this is all we have for you today. You can see that the Chicago State University has come out to say, we don't know the source of the document that was submitted to INEC. And also, people have been laying blame on our security bodies that they were meant to scrutinize these documents. I don't really know the process, but they are like shifting some level of blame on them that they did not really do the proper check. But I'm just wondering, where did that courage came from for somebody in the age of our president, to like submit something that he's not very sure of? Let's just assume, like doctor will always say, maybe somebody just brought it from nowhere and assured him that it was the right one. How did he summon the courage to like start submitting such a thing? I think this is really
no. I think you're missing something. I think you're missing something. If you say, why did he summon courage? Nobody's brought for him now, I can believe. Someone who had the courage, if anything is to go by. So, I started by saying that this manipulation is a transatlantic, is an intercontinental manipulation. First, somebody was able to tell a university in North America as far back as 1977 that he graduated from a secondary school in Nigeria. Okay? And dragged Cambridge University into it as the issuer of the certificate after he finished secondary school, when the secondary school was not even existing. And then that same somebody was able to carry a transcript which was written as female and handed over to a university in 1970. A 47-year habit. Let me not talk more. You people have heard me. Please, I don't want to speak more than I should speak again. It's either I don't talk than talk like Ruben Abati. Period.
Has landed. Unmasking Tinubu. Frame 1 and 2 are the original certificates that Chicago State University issued to their students in 1979. Frame 3 is what Tinubu brought off Pinterest. 1. Can you see that Tinubu's document has a triangle at the bottom, while the others do not? They have two hands locked with each other inside a circle. I hope you guys are paying attention. The fusions between what Tinubu submitted to INEC and what Chicago State University have. Okay, let us look at number 2. Number 2, you can see the names of those who signed the original certificates and Tinubu's copies, totally different. Are you paying attention? Are you looking at those documents? The people that signed the one for Chicago State students and so on differs from what Tinubu submitted. Number 3, Tinubu's copy says Bachelor of Science, Business and Administration with honors, but the original copy says Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. The word "in" appears in all original copies, but not in Tinubu's copy. I hope you guys are paying attention. I hope you are spotting out the differences. On number 4, the certificates are numbered at the bottom right with CSU 00, but Tinubu's certificate doesn't have it. Right below it is a total number of the certificate booklet 32 with the number of certificates issued CSU 004/32. Can you see the differences between what Chicago State University have, the original certificate, and what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu brought forward? Can you see how they spot out 4 things that are totally different from what Tinubu is having? This is to tell you that the certificate that Bola Ahmed Tinubu submitted to INEC was a fake and forged certificate. I'm not the one saying it. Don't attack me. I am not the one saying it. This is from what Chicago State University gave to Atiku Abubakar today. Yes, this is what they brought from Chicago State University. You know that this case has been on, and according to what we had today, it was reported that Tinubu even tried 3 times to stop this certificate from getting to Atiku Abubakar. It never worked. At a time, we also heard that Tinubu lawyers approached Atiku's lawyer to see if they can buy more time so that this case or this certificate disposition will not come up today. Maybe give them like 2 hours, 3 hours grace. But Atiku's lawyer disagreed with that. They said no. Since Judge Nancy I. Maldonado has given order that it should not exceed above 5 p.m. CDT today, that they want the certificate to come out. So that's why you are now seeing the certificate. And that's why the people that brought the certificate forward are showing you the differences on the certificate. Remember the first thing that they told you. If you look at the certificate that Tinubu is holding, there is a triangle. Everybody can see it. But if you look at the certificate that Chicago State University is having, the original copy, you see that people are holding hand and it is in a circle. So nothing stops you to know that this is a fake certificate. That is number 1 feature. And if you look at number 2, you will notice that the people that signed the document that Tinubu is having is totally different from the people that signed the original certificate from the Chicago State University. Imagine, I graduated the same year with you in the same university. And you know who signs certificate is the registrar of the university. Yes, I think the registrar should be there, and another person that should be there is the VC, the vice chancellor. They are the people that signed the certificate. But if it happens that the one that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is having was signed by somebody different, that means that certificate is a forged certificate. I'm not the one saying it. I am not the one. Don't crucify me. Look at what you are having on the system. Look at the certificate I'm showing you. You will see it is crystal clear. You can see the person that signed the original certificate from Chicago State University. And you can also see the person that signed the one that Bola Ahmed Tinubu presented to INEC. So don't say that I am the one. I am not saying anything. We are analyzing issue from what we have before us. Now look at the number 3. Just look at, on number 3, you have Tinubu's copy says Bachelor of Science, Business and Administration with honors. Pay attention to that. Bachelor of Science, business and administration with honors. But the original copy is having Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. Pay attention to that word, in business administration. Whereas Tinubu's own is having off, but the original certificate is having in business administration. This is just what happened with Abuja, the FCT. When it is clear that in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, it says you are going to win 2/3 of the 36 states of the country and the Abuja. But when it gets to the Court of Appeal, the tribunal, they twisted it. Abuja, that was the Federal Capital Territory, all of a sudden became a state. Yet the same Abuja does not have a governor. Yet the same Abuja does not have a state capital. Yet the same Abuja, we are being represented by people from nowhere. And they have also repeated that today. Tinubu's certificate is having Bachelor of Science, Business and Administration with honors. Whereas the original certificate from Chicago State University is having Bachelor of Science in Business in, mark that word, in Business Administration. You can see the way these people are twisting it. Can you see it? So this is not Nigeria. You know, if it is in Nigeria, you will say it is a typographical error. You understand? Or you say that these people have winch hunt him. You understand? This is coming from Chicago State University. Now look at the fourth one. The certificates are numbered at the bottom right with CSU 00. But Tinubu's certificate doesn't have it. Right button, it is a total number of the certificate booklets, 32, with the number of certificates issued CSU 0004/32. I am not the one cooking all these things, so that some of you guys will not crucify me this night. And if you look at the transcript and other things, you find out that the actual Bola A. Tinubu is a female. F is written there. I am not the one cooking it. Oh, this is from what we have. I am not the one cooking it. So from this, you can deduce that the actual certificate being submitted by Bola Tinubu to INEC is fake. I don't know what you guys think about it. Drop your comment. Thank you.